Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of the Job Breakdown. Today we're taking a look at Stormblood tanks, starting with the Paladin. Paladin is my tank of choice. It has changed a lot over the years, and it's changing even more, coming with Shadowbringers. We're going to go ahead and turn on Sword Oath. However, I do think where it is in Stormblood is really good. I think the Paladin's really set. We'll go over the abilities, we'll go over the cross rolls, and again, all of this is changing. Most of this is going away and changing kind of drastically. Tanks are going to be very different. But I'd like to go ahead and have this anyway, just to be able to show what tanks were like in Stormblood for anybody that may be curious later on. So you have your basic combo, Fast Blade, Savage Blade, Rage of Alone. This is going away, but Rage of Alone is a really cool animation. I like it a lot. Kind of sad to see it go. Then you have your secondary combo, which is Fast Blade, followed by Riot Blade. You can then go into Goring Blade to get your dot up, or you can go into Royal Authority for some extra damage. In the middle of all this, you want to be weaving in Spirits Within, and you of course have Circle of Scorn. That is a good AoE, and also is a good immunity generator. You have Total Eclipse, which is one of your newer Stormblood AoEs as well. Pretty nice, very good for your AoE rotation. And then you have Requiescat, which is followed by Holy Spirit. Again, this is changing in Stormblood as well. Shadowbringers. Holy Spirit will be an instant cast, but the reason you would want to do this is that while Requiescat is up, you have a buff that increases your magic damage for your MP. Like, as long as your MP is at 80% or higher, you are getting quite a bit of extra damage, so you want to be using those Holy Spirits pretty much right away. As you can see, it fills the gauge there, and then you can use your gauge abilities. So we'll get into those in just a moment. You also have Flash, which is very good for grabbing enmity, and you have, of course, your Shield Lob, which is your distance, your ranged attack, and you have Shield Bash, which is going away, but allows you a stun. And as always, weaving in Spirits Within the whole time. So your gauge between Sword and Shield. Sword would allow you to do extra damage on auto attacks, an extra 75 potency on all auto attacks. Whereas Shield would reduce your damage taken by 20 and reduce your damage dealt by 15, while giving you more immunity generation. Which means that for main taking, obviously, Shield and stance dancing when you could. For off taking Sword, there's no reason to have Shield Oath on in Stormblood when you're not main tanking, because it was reducing your DPS. That will change in Shadowbringers. When you have built up enough gauge, though, you can use Shelltron, which allows you to block yourself from any incoming damage for the next attack, and you get some MP back on the block. And Intervention, which allows you to, I don't think he will count, but basically you can Shelltron your ally. You reduce their damage taken by 10%, which is very nice. Intervention is pretty cool. From there, you have the cooldowns, Rampart, nice little defense buff, and Fight or Flight. These should be used on basically every pull because of how quickly they come back. Use them right before you pull, go for it, you're good. You have Provoke, which is a cross roll. Allows you to put yourself right at the top of the immunity chart. Provoke in Shadowbringers will also give you extra immunity, which is great. Bulwark, get extra block rate. You have Convalescence, cross roll, which is extra HP. You have Sentinel, reduces damage taken. You have Reprisal, lowers the damage that they deal. You have Tempered Will, makes it where you can't be knocked back. And again, if you ever see a tank just pop all these in a row, that's not how you do this. You do this as they fall off, you pop the next one, but we're just showing them off here. You have Awareness, which makes it where you cannot be crit. You have Anticipation, which increases your parry rate. A lot of people forget about these. They go, oh, they're not as important as, Rampart, Bulwark, Convo, and Sentinel. Those are the important ones. It's like, no, these are just as important as well. Then you also have Cover, which is a really cool move. It allows you to basically pace a tether on top of your ally, and then you take the damage they would be taking. Most of the damage, not all of it, but you would be taking most of the damage that they would be taking. So if you have a healer that's really low and the boss is about to use a raid-wide AoE, you can drop a cover on them and take that damage for them, and then you are, protecting them, doing your job as the tank. You have Divine Veil, which allows you to give a barrier to all party members upon being healed, and because you're a paladin, you can heal yourself. thus granting that barrier with Divine Veil. Very nice. Also, of course, the clemency that Paladin has is pretty good. MP cost is not cheap, but it's pretty solid, as you can see. Healing pretty nice little amount of HP. And the final ability Paladin has is, oh, there's two more. Passage of Arms allows you to put up a barrier to block for 15 seconds anything that would come through, 18 seconds, I'm sorry. Anything that would come through damage-wise for your party. They can all get behind you and you can protect them from it. Very cool ability, very good on raid-wide AoEs, very good for stack markers. It's something you want to be doing, and it's something I don't see Paladins at 70 do enough mid-combat. And then finally you have Hallowed Ground. For 10 seconds, you can't die. Pretty good. It's pretty good. Recast time's kind of long, but it's pretty OP, honestly. If you have healers that you trust, and that you're talking to, and you have a good relationship with, like you know each other fairly well, you can pop a Hallowed instead of dying, and they can keep DPSing. And within those 10 seconds, they just have to heal you enough that you won't die right after it drops off. It's pretty crazy. I think Paladin and Stormblood was really solid. It wasn't top of the charts, but it wasn't bottom of the charts either. And I think it turned out really good. I'm really excited for the changes that they are making in Shadowbringers. The gap closer for Paladin alone will be really nice. But I think Paladin's in a really good place as of current Stormblood. And I think they did a pretty good job with it. You know, your thoughts on Paladin in the comment section down below. There's not really much to talk about when it comes to abilities with tanks, when half their abilities are just cooldowns. But use your cooldowns, people. If you're tanking and you don't use cooldowns, use your cooldowns, please. With all that said, though, I have been Trey. This has been the Full Spectrum. And remember to always enjoy the full spectrum that Paladin has to offer.